Daumantas DVILINSKAS iš TransferGo skaitys pranešimą Technologijų Lietuva 2030. Kaip Lietuva galėtų tapti pirmaujančia novatore regione. Iššūkiai, su kuriais susidursime. Prašau.
Good afternoon, everyone. Labas visiems. First of all, I want to thank Valstybė for this amazing thing to invite me the second year in a row. So I was at the stage a year ago, and today I will actually continue for where I left off a year ago. And so today I will talk about the challenges that faces Lithuania if we are to become the regional hub for innovation. And we actually have a chance to become one just by looking at what has been happening in Lithuania for the last 5 years. It actually has been quite inspiring and amazing. I have an interesting view. I watch it sometimes from London, not always from here, but it's actually been quite amazing. So before we actually talk about Lithuania, I just want to give one good piece of news from TransferGo. Last week we hit 1 million customers, and that's a big milestone for us. It's a success story in the making, I hope, but we're just getting started. And like the ecosystem itself, I would say. So last year I left the conference with this slide. And my main point I wanted to put forward was that in order to get to somewhere, you need to know where you are going. And in 1918, 1991, we had a very clear view where the country was going, right? We wanted to have a country, first and foremost. Secondly, we wanted that country to be independent. And last year, I gave a view that we have to be Tech Lithuania 2040. And only by deciding, as all of us, where we're going, we have a chance to get there. And you know what? It actually resonated quite a bit with many of you last year. And probably that's one of the reasons why I'm here talking to you today. So last year, I spoke about the where, the vision, and the importance of that vision. Now I'm talking to you about the how. How we're going to get there. And today I'm standing in front of you not as an expert in any of the fields that I am actually going to talk about. However, during the last 10 years, I've actually had a very interesting point of view looking at our ecosystem in the making. And I have a holistic perspective about how various moving points glue together. And it's all about the holistic perspective for this presentation. So last 7 years, we have done a pretty good job. Based on Startup Lithuania's feedback, we have more than 500 startups right now in the ecosystem. Last year, we attracted around $100 million in direct investment into Lithuanian startups. Majority of them were Vinted, us, and other guys, but still, we're getting more and more people who are investing in Lithuanian-founded or Lithuanian-based companies. Obviously, fintech is in a hype. We have opened the box for licenses here, and everyone's coming, which is very exciting. At the same time, we have a development of angel networks and multiple VCs already in operation for a while. So it's not a bad start. It's pretty cool when you look at it from the outside. And when I think about it, this is how I think about Lithuania's tech ecosystem today. It's our basketball team in 1992. Where these guys came from, no one had any idea. Who is Sabonis, people have even less of an idea. But we were winning, right? And so, you know, in Lithuania, basketball metaphors resonate. So I tried to use it over the course of this presentation. But I just want to be clear about one fact, that today our ecosystem is in the first quarter, and we're winning in that quarter, but we still have 3 quarters left. Yes, 3 quarters left in our game, and it's all about the long term. It's all about winning the game, not winning the first quarter. So, how to win the game? How to build Lithuania into 2040 ecosystem that it can be? And if there is one thing that I would like to leave you here today is that we must switch from short-term quick wins, short-term hypes, to long-term strategic thinking and long-term decisions, which in a democracy is a difficult thing to do. right? Long tail is not really rewarded neither by the elections nor by short-term, oh, I did this and that's why the success story is there. So we need to be much smarter about our decisions. And today I will talk about 4 fundamental areas where we need to overcome challenges. And I'll talk about capital markets, tech education, ability to attract foreign talent into Lithuania, and the political aspect of it all. But more importantly, I will speak about how these 4 bubbles relate to one another and work in a unison together. Because solving one of these without keeping in mind all 4, it's not going to be enough. We need to think about the 4 of these at the same time. And also keep in mind that a lot of great progress has already been made here, so I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But we need to be a bit more strategic and a bit more long-term thinking. Let's start with the capital markets. Today we have 2 fundamental issues when it comes to capital markets. We don't have a very well-developed angel ecosystem, the money that can come into a startup before it's ready for venture capital. And the first point on that is one of the reasons, the second point is actually one of the reasons why that's the case. The second point is that when a company becomes successful, like us, to an extent, Vinted, Trafi, all the other guys, they actually flip their holding company from Lithuania to another jurisdiction. And so this happens due to issues that we have in our legal code. And that's another problem that we need to address, because there is no point to develop startups when successful guys pay money elsewhere, pay taxes elsewhere, right? And at the same time, angels are the backbone of any successful ecosystem, the same way that basketball schools are the backbone of our wins across the last 15 years. So here are the possible solutions that we can do. So I want to encourage us to think about a comprehensive legal reform that would keep holding companies in Lithuania. And I have flipped my company to the UK, Topco. And there was one good reason for that. Venture capitalists came in and said, listen, Lithuanian legal system is based on the German setup when it comes to legal systems. We are not used to that. Your legal system is not ready. It doesn't have things like employee stock options. It doesn't have, at least at that point, it didn't have many things that were necessary. And in general, investors like to invest in places where they know. So that's why we moved to the UK. GetJar had to flip to move to the US, and it's an ongoing story. And it's all because of the fact that we haven't addressed this problem properly and haven't reviewed our legal system. And this can be done with public-private partnership in place, and you have a ton of companies that already went through this. So also the list of what needs to be done is there. We just need to recognize it. So that's the legal. And that could be a big leap for us to actually maintain holdings in Lithuania. Second point is tax reform. I keep talking about this in private, about how London has become angel powerhouse of investment. It has attracted angel investors from across the region. And you know why? Because they get tax incentives to invest in startups there rather than anywhere else in the world. Like, for us to become leader and build Vilnius as a center, we need to build similar incentives here so that wealthy Polish, Latvian, Scandinavian, or any other investor would say, I will invest in Lithuania because I get a very, very favorable tax code here. And I'm not talking about lowering taxes on capital gains. No, if they make money, government should make money. What I'm talking about is offering incentives to invest early when it's risky. And this has been done by a very successful system called EIS in London, which has actually turned London into a powerhouse for regional investment from angel investors. And then if you build a successful angel network system, they will come in earlier before VCs. And they will be the missing part that we need, because we already have plenty of VCs here that are ready to invest, but companies are not ready, and they need that angel piece in the middle. At the same time, when you invest people to invest in companies here, you also attract international know-how. So these are the 2 things that could be very straightforward, long-term changes that we could have in our company, which is our country. Second bit is tech education. And I don't want to be negative around this, and there's been a lot of positive things that happen with our higher education. However, it is too slow. And even today, we don't have a single university that's in top 100. And top talent is leaving abroad, and they're studying abroad for many of them come back now, but still. We are not replenishing our talent pool here fast enough. And that's a problem. And yes, we want our universities to be strong. That will take time, and we're working on that. However, it is not fast enough. And here I would like to propose to you all is we should seriously consider inviting top international universities into Lithuania. There is no reason why MIT can't have their satellite office here. There is no reason why top business universities can't come here and turn Vilnius or Kaunas or any other city into a regional power play. And this can happen fast, right? Attracting someone, they will attract their lecturers, they will attract their budgets, the same way that we're attracting international fintechs to disrupt financial technologies. We can attract international universities to disrupt our higher education system. And a very good example of this is SSE Riga in Latvia. Like, they have opened up Stockholm School of Economics in Latvia. And what's happened very clearly was that top people from Lyceus, top Vilnius in high school, top people would go to Cambridges and Oxfords. But the rest, very smart people, went to Riga to study various business-related subjects because that was the closest place to get a very competitive foreign education, which is still close, right? So people don't want to necessarily move to London or to Berlin or to San Francisco. They want to be close to their mom and her cooking, and it's like they want to be here, but we need to provide them with conditions to do that. And attracting foreign university would be a huge step for us to not only position ourselves as a leader, but also keep that talent here. Because all those people that would be going to Latvia, they'll probably go here, right? And how to do that? Simple. Lithuanian alumni in all the universities, and NGOs like Global Lithuanian Leaders. Lithuania is 4 million strong. We have amazing diaspora. We have universities that pride Lithuanians as one of the best. Even in my university, Lancaster, Lithuanian lady was the best ever in management school, right? There's a fondness around us as a country, and they're always looking for ways to expand their satellite offices and leverage that. So this is not as difficult as it may seem, but we need to realize that if we continue to change our higher education at this pace, we might be left behind more and more. Talking about talent, I also want to talk about attracting C-level experience. When the business becomes successful and you sort of have product market fit, this is the stage where we're currently at. Any company will face this problem. You need experienced senior managers to come and take your business from 10 million to 100 million. I spoke to Vinted today just before the biggest struggle is senior top talent. We face the same issue. And so we hire them in London, and they sit on a plane, and they travel to Vilnius every second week, right? That is a hack, not a solution. And this shortage of C-levels we need to address, because our ecosystem is very young, and it hasn't had enough exits, or pretty much no exits, apart from one, I think. So we can't have experienced C-levels. That's why we need to import them. It's the same way in basketball. You don't have all the best talent at home, then you buy foreigners to come and play for you. That's how you win. And I know Lithuanian basketball team will never have an international coach. I'm talking about the national team. But maybe we could recognize that that's not a strength. And we need to start thinking about how to attract these people. And here, how to do it, relocation incentives, lifestyle PR, and travel infrastructure, right? From May, City Airport will be flying to Vilnius, which is fantastic. And now I'm pitching that to many of the C-levels that I'm recruiting, people who have made it well in PayPal, like top-notch C-levels who are, for them I'm saying, listen, you need to go to Vilnius a lot, but guess what? We have now city flights, so it's not going to be an issue. And that is a changing factor. And that I recently hired head of commerce, head of commercial, just because the flight was there, right? So, of course, the business has to work, but I'm not talking about that. And so, when you build the brand of Lithuania, not only as a tech nation, but a place where you can actually relocate and live as an international, that is important. And I think we should do that much more in a much more structured way. And let's think about what happened with National Bank of Lithuania, when they actually PR'd and made it public that Lithuania is open for business in fintech. Look how quickly international businesses came here and licensed. Google, Earthport, Revolut, us, all of these people came in and said, yeah, we're going to do it. We're not going to go to Amsterdam, we're going to go here, right? So there is no, I mean, Vilnius is a beautiful city to live in. Anyone who's tired of London and constant tube stuff, they would love living here, but we need to make a case around it. And we need to recognize that without attracting these senior levels, we really decrease the chances of our unicorns, because you need experience when you go from 10 million to 100 million. And the last point is politics, which is probably the most exciting of all of these. But this moving towards 2040 vision must be immune to political cycles. We can't have a conversation every 4 years where we're going, or do we need to start going into industry or tech or whatever, right? Therefore, we need to find a way to solve one of the most difficult things. This is, in a very nicely operating democracy, how do you ensure long-term decision-making? And really do not pretend that I'm an expert in this, but one thing we could do is we could build what I call Tech Lithuania Advisory Board. And that could be an independent body consisted of international talent, private public sector, who would come in together and help advise on making the right strategic decisions on some of those bubbles that I mentioned, right? And this advisory board, you know, it would be of huge value not only to make the better decision, but also to attract that international talent and show that it's a place where we can actually, where top people in the world can live here, right? And that's not so far away. And you know, I wrote about Ministry of Innovation, and that will eventually will need one. Today I was informed that already we changed the name of our Ministry of Economics into Ministry of Economics and Innovation, which is great. So a lot of things are happening. We just need to realize how important it is to accelerate this all. And so, I'm coming back to the first slide, and I think I want to just step here and really think about this, because all of these challenges are interrelated. If you won't have capital, there's not going to be startups. If you won't have talent, there's not going to be startups. And if we are always changing our direction, you can have people or talent, but they're not going to be, it needs to be a very consistent, reliable environment. But the good thing about all of these is that these are not new challenges. And these challenges have been solved by different countries already. Some of them have been solved by London, some of them have been solved by Germany, some of them have been solved by San Francisco, right? So there's two ways how you can try to do it. We can try to do this on our own, and it will be slow. We'll make all the same mistakes that others have done, learn in the process, right? But there's another way. By attracting talent and building on the know-how that already exists there, we can accelerate the pace at which we actually solve these challenges. And people who are much, much more qualified than I am could come here and tell us how exactly to overcome these challenges that face us, right? And so I spoke about the long term, right? None of these will be visible in a 3-year horizon. All the decisions we're going to make today about capital markets, talent, they will take years to build. They will require consolidated effort. They will require consistency from public-private sector in communicating and articulating the right things. But, you know, the good thing is that we have overcome much more difficult issues in the history of our government and our country. And I can see no reason why we can't be much more smarter, and in, you know, 5 to 10 years, we'll actually not only have unicorns, but have a system in place that can consistently generate unicorns, the same way that we have system that can consistently generate top-level basketball players here in the country. It's actually quite, and that's something that I would like to leave you all with. Thank you very much.